Welcome back, Pokemon trainers. Professor Chaz here. The lab coat's on back order, and I'm bringing you this week's live Pokemon X Wi-Fi battle. It's going to feature Sheldon the Blastoise and the team I put together in yesterday's team building video. And what I'm planning to do from here on out is I still want to use Pokemon X as sort of like a proving ground, as it were. Like trying to see which of my Pokemon I haven't yet used, bring them into these online battles, see if they're going to get victories or losses. Because when I start the Omega Ruby battles, which I think will probably happen next week, if I can get the items I need, then I'm going to bring the strongest of the strong. I want to start off with the winners of Pokemon X battles and bring them into the Omega Ruby battles. So I'm still using Pokemon X to sort of go through the Pokemon that haven't been used yet, see which ones get the victories, and then they're going to start moving forward into the Omega Ruby ones. Alright, so all that being said, we're going to get into this week's battle and see if Sheldon the Blastoise and the team I've assembled are going to get themselves some victories and thereby secure themselves a spot in the upcoming Omega Ruby battles. Let's get started. And the opponent has been found in Shiga, Japan. I can't quite pronounce that name. They're bringing a Tyranitar, Garchomp, Scizor, Talonflame, Slowbro, and Venusaur. So there are four possible Megas on this team. Now, Stealth Rocks is always an issue, so Tyranitar could be a possible lead. Scizor perhaps with a U-turn and the, I believe, what is it? Technician, I think? It boosts 60 power or less attacks. So those could be possible leads. Who would they actually choose based on my team? Well, I imagine they might consider Talonflame, seeing that some of my heavier hitters are possibly Heracross and Aegislash. And Charizard could be a lead on my side, so they might actually want to send in Tyranitar. So I'm going to predict Tyranitar and Talonflame. Best options to deal with them might be Blastoise, so I'm going to lead Sheldon. And who could do the best to that Tyranitar? Unfortunately, both Pokemon with fighting moves are both weak to fire. So if we could get a paralysis off using Dratini's Thunder Wave, that might be a good start as well. So I'm going to bring him second. Heracross is probably the better option between Keaton and Caliburn. So I'll bring Keaton, and my fourth Pokemon, I'm going to bring Mega Blaze, Mega Charizard Y. Because why not? The battle is underway. 4v4. Let's see if I predicted properly or correctly on what my Pokemon or what my opponent's Pokemon are going to be the leads. So there is the Talonflame, but it's Slowbro. Now, is that Slowbro going to try setting up on us? What could it go for? I could switch out my Blastoise, but it's not really gonna... No one else is gonna really take a hit that well, so I'm going to keep Sheldon in. I could go for a Scald. They could send in Venusaur to take that hit, though. I think best idea right now, we're going to try Scald against... We're going to try Scald against the Talonflame spot, and we're also hoping to get a Thunder Wave to paralyze it. So there's Taunt on Dratini, so we're not going to be able to use Thunder Wave. We do get some decent damage on that. Interesting, I didn't know Talonflame can learn Taunt. That's good to know, I've learned something today. So will they swap it out? They're probably just going to go for a physical attack. What I'm going to do next is use a Scald attack against the Slowbro, hoping for a burn, and we're going to go with a Waterfall against the Talonflame. We will survive a hit coming from it with the Focus Sash. We might be able to knock it out. Here comes Brave Bird. Who's it targeting down? That's right, Sheldon, you take that hit. And the Life Orb recoil as well, okay. Let's get the Scald attack. The Torrent has boosted it, and that is a very specially defensive Slowbro. So Dratini gets the Waterfall, brings down the Talonflame. Let's hope we don't get the Flame Body. Okay, good. Must have had Gale Wings. And Trick Room will alter the speeds of all the Pokemon. So now that we took out the Talonflame, we have a pretty safe switch in to bring Keaton. So Slowbro's going to outspeed everything on the field. And in comes Venusaur. Definitely Sheldon is a potential target down at this point, so I'm going to protect with him. And let's go ahead. I think I'm going to throw a Light Screen. I can't use Light Screen, I've been taunted, I forgot. Okay, so knowing that, we should just go all out with a Draco Meteor. Slowbro will easily take that hit, but I'm going to try Draco Meteor against the Venusaur, just to get as much damage off as we can. Of course, it's a Mega Venusaur, and I believe they do get a special defense boost when they Mega Evolve, so this Draco Meteor is not going to do much at all. So we do protect ourselves with Sheldon, and to survive whatever attacks come at him. Psychic will target Dratini, but Focus Sash keeps him in play. Will they have predicted that? That is possible. Nope, okay. So we're going to get Draco Meteor, at least Dratini got some good damage, and took out the Talonflame. But that's all he's going to be able to take care of at this point. So we see leftovers. I didn't notice that last turn. I got to pay more attention to everything that happens on the battlefield. The taunt has worn off, but we're not fast enough to be able to make any use of that. I think we're going to lose both Pokemon unless we do something. So I'm actually going to let Sheldon go down. We're going to try Earthquake. I mean, he's not going to survive the hit either way, but if he does survive, he's going to get an Earthquake off. I'm going to swap out Dratini and send in Keaton. Oh, come on back, little dragon guy. In comes my Heracross. And there's a Scald attack. Not picking up a burn. And Giga Drain will take down Sheldon. So at this point, I'm going to be sending in Blaze and Mega Evolving ASAP. We are going to be the slowest on the field, but by Mega Evolving, we're going to weaken that Scald attack from Slowbro. Alright, so Blaze is going to take the field. It's kind of funny, we're saving Dratini as apparently our trump card here. So let's go with Mega Evolution. First thing I should do, Slowbro is probably the bigger threat. I'm going to try a Solar Beam. I don't think they have anything that they can switch in to survive that. So we're just going to go right up, Solar Beam, and we're going to substitute with Keaton. So the Mega Ring reacts and Blaze achieves Mega Charizard Y status. Drought will activate and bring out the Sun. And a Psychic attack is probably going to take down Keaton. Yep. Super effective. Alright, but Sleep Powder, oh, it's going to connect. That pretty much just sealed the game because we're not going to be able to take that Slowbro out. Unless the Trick Room ends right now and we wake up immediately. So in comes Dratini once again. Nope, Trick Room is still in play. So let's just try another Solar Beam, and we'll try Thunder Wave. Or should we try Light Screen? I'm going to try Light Screen. But we're not going to outspeed with Dratini, I'm sure. So some decent damage on Blaze. Giga Drain is going to take down Dratini before he can even do a thing. Although he did take Talonflame, I keep forgetting that. So if we wake up immediately, we're still in a decent spot. We don't wake up. Now if the Trick Room ends, we're still in a decent spot. Okay, it does. Now, that was a good thing in our favor. We also need the wake up right now. we don't wake up this match. There we go. Alright, Solar Beam. Now it is specially defensive, this Slowbro, so not sure if this is going to take it out in one shot. It does pick up the knockout. So that's 2 down. We're going to take a very powerful Sludge Bomb, and it might not survive that one. Nope, it's critical hit. I don't know if it mattered or not. I'm going to say it did. We would have actually taken it, I'm sure, if it wasn't critical. So we do lose that match, 0-2, but we gave it our all. We did our best, and Dratini actually got a knockout, which I was pretty impressed with. Alright, my opponent has been found from Jalisco, Mexico, Juanpa. Let's battle. Well, let's battle indeed. They're going to be bringing a Volcarona, Ambipom, Cloyster, Kangaskhan, Shuckle, and Noivern to the battle. So, a potential lead for my opponent. Fake Out from Ambipom is always popular. Fake Out from Kangaskhan is always popular. Mega Evolution from Kangaskhan is always popular. So, I'm thinking Kangaskhan might be a lead. Possibly the Shuckle, maybe? Something that can get like a Stealth Rocks up. Well, I'm going to say Kangaskhan is definitely going to be one of their leads. Based on my team and the weaknesses to fire that we see, they might send in the Volcarona. Might actually send in the Ambipom, now that I think about it. So what I'm going to do is actually, I'm going to bring Caliburn in reserve, so I can swap it into, be immune to a Fake Out. I'm going to start off the battle with Sheldon the Blastoise, and if this Kangaskhan does go Mega, or if the Kangaskhan does lead, I should say, I'm going to start with Keaton the Heracross. I'm also bringing Caliburn, and who would be the next best? I think Blaze might not be bad. I can Mega Evolve and get some good damage off on a lot of these Pokemon. So let's bring the Mega Charizard. No, I don't think they would lead with both Ambipom and Kangaskhan, because that's 2 normal types. It's probably not the wisest thing to lead off with 2 of the same type. But they might surprise me. So Juanpa is issuing a challenge, sending in Ambipom and Cloyster. Now, who would the Ambipom go for a Fake Out? Probably the Heracross, because Keaton's fighting type moves are going to be super effective against both of these Pokemon. I think what I should do, I'm going to send in Caliburn in place of Keaton. Sheldon's best contribution in this fight is going to be using a Scald attack against either... Cloyster will resist it, but the special defense is not that good. Who should we try to get the burn on is the question. I'm going to attempt to burn the Ambipom. And Keaton, you're going to get out of there. We're going to send in Caliburn, hopefully to avoid any Fake Outs coming your way. Caliburn takes his spot on the field. Fake Out is going to actually connect against Sheldon, so I mispredicted that, unfortunately. And Shell Smash. So now the Cloyster is going to have some boosted speed and offenses, while the defenses have lowered. From what I understand, Focus Sash could be a problem with this Cloyster. I wonder if we could try Shadow Sneak. I'm going to try a Scald attack once again against the Cloyster. Will it be able to do anything really super effective against either of my Pokemon? I don't know. I'm going to try Sacred Sword on the Cloyster. We'll try to target that thing down as soon as we can. And we can always follow up with a Shadow Sneak as well, if Caliburn survives this turn. You know the ability that Cloyster can have is Skill Link, which means any moves like that hit 2 to 5 times will hit the full 5 times. Things such as Icicle Spear, Fury Attack, things like that. So there's that Icicle Spear I mentioned. Fortunately, we are resistant to it. It's going to hit all 5 times, so we're going to take some decent damage. And depending on who goes first, if Sheldon outspeeds Caliburn, well, King's Rock is going to cause a flinch. There we go. There's the flinch, but we are going to get this stance change and go for the Sacred Sword attack. I don't think I mentioned what attack I was using. But Sacred Sword on the Cloyster. It's going to do considerable damage, not as much as I would have liked. We're going to heal up. So we know another Icicle Spear will probably be enough to bring down Caliburn if it works in conjunction with the Ambipom. So I think probably we're going to go with a Scald attack on the Cloyster. We're going to throw that King Shield up immediately. They're probably going to expect that. But it's really the only option we have at this point. We gotta get that shield back up, go back into defense form. And if they do attack a physical move, if it's a connecting physical move, they will sharply lower their attack stat. So the stance change kicks in again, and we go into shield form. Let's see what my opponent has in store for us. Rock Blast, we do protect. And Covet just stole our Lumberry. Alright then. So we do take that Cloyster down. That was a big threat that we had to worry about. So, we can probably, I don't know if we'll take it out in one shot, but we can try Sacred Sword against that Ambipom for super effective. Volcarona comes in. I'm pretty sure they can learn things like Energy Ball and such. We're going to swap it immediately. If they go for a fire move, I don't want to send Keaton back in. I'm going to send Blaze to take whatever grass or fire move might be coming his way. They might actually go for Caliburn, but I'm not going to switch both Pokemon out. I'm going to try Sacred Sword and go for that Ambipom. So come on back, Sheldon. Blaze is coming in to take the hit for you. I wonder if that Ambipom's going to fling that thing back at us. So Last Resort does bring Blaze all the way almost down, and Heat Wave actually is going to take both of my Pokemon out. Well played. This is a very impressive Ambipom moveset. Alright, so there is Life Orb recoil on the Volcarona. We're going to send Sheldon and Keaton into the battle. If we're lucky, we will outspeed the Volcarona with Keaton. And if we can get a Rock Slide off, that would be amazing. I think probably the best option here, I'm going to protect with Sheldon. Actually, no. I'm going to just try to go for some offense. I'm going to use a Scald because the Torrent, I think, kicks in at this level of HP. And we're going to try that Rock Slide from Keaton. Maybe picking up the knockout. Alright, how much is this going to do? So, okay, I should have protected. Sheldon does go down. Now, can we outspeed that Volcarona? We are invested in speed, and we don't. But we do avoid the Heat Wave. The Rock Slide connects against both Pokemon. And the Volcarona is down. Of course, now we're fighting an uphill battle right now. We've got one Pokemon left, and they still have two. We can take that Ambipom out with a close combat if we don't get knocked out. Of course, now there's going to be a fake-out problem. So this match is pretty much decided. I'm going to try a close combat against the Kangaskhan because I'm expecting Mega, I'm expecting fake-out, I'm expecting Last Resort from Ambipom. But if we can get an attack off, I want to take the Mega down. So there we go, Mega Evolution from Kangaskhan. Here comes Fake Out, I'm sure. It might be Return, actually. Because they have two attackers. But there is Fake Out. We get some pretty decent damage against Little Heracross here. I shouldn't say little. He's actually pretty powerful in the right situations. Last Resort, is this one of those situations? It's not one of those situations, because down he goes to some overwhelming power from my opponent. A couple of normal types took down my fighting type. Well, good game, Wanpa. 0-2. Alright, my opponent has been found from Quintana Roo, Mexico. It is Calm. Sounds very cool and collected. Alright, so he's bringing a series of fighting types. We see Lucario, Blaziken, and Chestnut, but also rounding out that we have an Empoleon, a Wormadam, and a Fan-Rotom. So, fighting type is the main theme on the opponent's side. we have nothing really to take fighting type out. No flying or psychic, no fairy. So we have to deal with it another way. We see that 3 of the Pokemon, well, not exactly. I was going to say 3 of the Pokemon are weak. Actually, no, 3 of them are weak to fire, because that Wormadam is a bug ground type. And Lucario and Chespin as well, or not Chespin, Chestnut are weak to it. So, I think the best idea... Well, first let's plan out what the opponent would start with. I believe a Blaziken lead is a good potential, because 2 of my Pokemon are weak to the fire, and we have a fighting weakness as well. So we're going to go ahead and start with Sheldon, and we're going to start with Whiskers as well. We're going to want to use that switcheroo to put the choice specs on one of the opponents, and then we can protect next turn if necessary. So since since 3 of them are weak to fire, we're also going to bring Blaze the Mega Charizard, and my next and final choice, we are immune to fighting with Caliburn, so we're going to bring him as well. Alright, the battle is getting underway. Chaz versus Calm. Or Calm. No, I'm going to say Calm. Okay, so the battle begins, and both opponents are sending in their leads. It's going to be Sheldon and Whiskers on my side. In come Chestnut and Empoleon on the opposing side. So, a grass attack could be a big problem, but we're going to try an avalanche against that Chestnut. Stealth Rocks, I know Empoleon can get Stealth Rocks. But we also know, I'm pretty sure they're going to be special based. I'm going to actually use Switcheroo and give the choice specs over to the Chestnut, because they're more physical from what I understand. Bite attack. Okay. So here, you can take this choice specs here, sir. We're going to snatch away Cobra Berry, so we can flying type moves. Brick Break will hurt. So down goes Whiskers. And Avalanche, since we didn't take damage from that Chestnut, is going to do super effective damage, but not really a lot. It is defensive. Now we saw a Bide from the Empoleon. We don't want to hit it. I think, since we know that the Chestnut is physical, we're going to send in Caliburn. And we're going to use Reflect, but we're going to actually swap Sheldon out right now and bring in Blaze. We're going to go in Blazing. We're going to bring up Reflect with Caliburn. Next turn we can Mega Evolve and get off a Heat Wave against both of these opponents. So whatever move... I was thinking that Chestnut would be locked into using just Brick Break now, but in testing I discovered that whatever move they choose after the choice specs is added to it is what they go for. But they did choose Brick Break, so they are now locked in using Brick Break. This turn Empoleon will fire off the Bide attack, and we're going to go ahead and use the Mega Evolution, a Heat Wave on both opponents. They might actually swap out that Chestnut, but if they do, there's 2 other potential fire weaknesses that they're going to bring in. We're going to go Sacred Sword against the Empoleon. So Blaze hits the field as Mega Charizard Y. So now his ability becomes Drought, which will bring up the sun, thereby increasing fire-type moves such as Heat Wave, which he's about to launch off. But first we see the Bide does fail because we didn't touch that thing. And Heat Wave does considerable damage, takes down the Chestnut. And the Sacred Sword coming from Caliburn should possibly finish off this Empoleon. And if so, we're in a pretty good spot. We'll be up 3-2. We do pick up the knockout. So we're at 3 Pokemon, and they're at 2. I'm hoping for their sake they didn't use or choose the Wormadam and the Lucario, and they didn't. So here we see Rotom, Fan. Okay. So it's an electric type. I think I'm going to actually swap Blaze back out for the time being. I'm going to bring Sheldon back in. And our main priority, we got to try and take that Rotom down. This Wormadam might have Earthquake. If so, I'm going to use King Shield and get Caliburn back into shield form for this turn. Now, of course, we could go for a Scald attack on that Wormadam for super effective damage. However, it is actually going to be weakened thanks to the drought bringing up the sunny day. So we get the shield activated, and Rotom charges. It's going to boost its special defense and increase the power of its next electric type moves that it uses. And Fisher! Okay, I see what we're going for here. Now we're going to protect with Sheldon because he doesn't want to take a double boosted lightning or electric move from that Rotom. Alright, Wormadam, what do we go for? Well, we know Fisher won't actually take out Blaze when we send him back in, so let's go Sacred Sword against Rotom. Try and take that out so we have the electric Pokemon down on the opposing side. So Electro Ball actually is blocked by Protect, and we do outspeed, or I should say Caliburn outspeeds the Wormadam, so we're going to get some good damage off of Sacred Sword. Actually, no, we're not. I forgot it's Flying type that resists it, and okay then. So it is Electric Flying. It's the wannabe Zapdos is what it is. Now let's go ahead. Well, it's welcome to try and hit us with an electric move because we're going to use Avalanche against it since it is Flying type. And we're going to Shadow Sneak it, get some more damage off. Here we go. Priority speed. Pretty good damage. One more should take it out, actually. Now Electro Ball, unless the Avalanche actually takes it down. Fisher is going to connect against Caliburn. I've never seen that actually in the video game yet. I love that little whee! Unfortunately, I am loving an attack that did knock out my Aegislash, but we're going to get some double boosted damage off of this Avalanche, and down goes the Rotom, leaving just the Wormadam on the opposing side. And Reflect just wore off. I don't think it really matters if they're going for one-hit KO moves. Alright, Blaze comes back in, and we're going to go, I think, let's not protect. We're going to double attack this Wormadam. If they do go for Fisher, then we are going to lose Blastoise if it connects. But the Heat Wave should probably pick up the KO, I'm thinking, at this point. Heat Wave fires off, pardon the pun. And it's a one-shot knockout. Wormadam goes down, and we obtain a victory for my Pokemon. It wasn't looking good for a while there. But this week we do get a win, 2-0. Nice game, Com. And so, the end result of this week's Pokemon X Live Wi-Fi battle is, unfortunately, Dratini and Keaton did suffer a loss, so they got the red glow for themselves. It's really unfortunate because Keaton was actually the Pokemon I caught back in Johto, who saw me through Whitney's gym in Goldenrod City and defeated her Miltank, which has given so many trainers so much trouble over the years. But I was hoping he was going to be able to pull out a victory. Although he's been defeated, we're not counting him out yet. We will someday bring him back for another battle to give him another shot. However, despite the fact that we did get 2 losses for 2 of our Pokemon, we did get Sheldon and Whiskers into the victory circle. Not only that, so Blaze already had a victory, but we managed to get Caliburn out of the losers bracket and into the winner circle. So we have done some good step forwards with this battle here. Now, as I tested this team before doing the live battles, I did learn a valuable lesson regarding the strategy I had in mind for Whiskers and the choice spec switcheroo trick there. It works differently than I thought it was going to. I thought it was like as soon as the opponent chooses a move and then we put the choice specs on them, they're locked into the move that they had gone for. Now what actually happens is it seems that it locks the attack that you choose when you're currently holding that item. So despite the fact that we were hoping to lock them into a move, we still locked them into a move, but it's their choice. I was hoping to lock them into a move that they weren't expecting to have to keep using over and over. So, although technically she was on a winning team and did get the green glow of victory, it wasn't really, like she took, I think, what was it, she got knocked out on that first turn, I believe. And eventually, when she does come back, because I might want to bring her back to help some other Pokemon try to get to the victory circle, like the nice green glow, you're going to see a dramatically different moveset for her. I'm going to think of some other kind of a clever strategy that I can put in play on my Persian, and see if we can go from there. Alright, so if you see any Pokemon in this group shot who don't yet have one of the highlights to them, like green or red, those are Pokemon that I haven't yet used in the online battles. If you'd like to see any of them in particular come to next week's live Pokemon X Wi-Fi battle, leave a comment down below and let me know which of these Pokemon you want to see in next week's battle, and I'll try to put them into a team and formulate some more teammates to go along with them to help get everybody into the victory circle, or at least, decide if they're going to be in the loser's bracket or winner's bracket, which, as I said, is going to be sort of deciding which Pokemon I'm going to start bringing into the Omega Ruby battles, possibly starting next week. And leave a comment down below as well. Let me know what you thought of this battle, and if you have any suggestions on how to make things better, feel free to leave some suggestions for Whiskers, because like I said, there's going to be a considerable overhaul for her moveset for future videos. And until next week, I'm going to end the video off right now. I'd like to thank you for checking out this video, and I'll catch you next time.